Hello, John here again, and this is an update for my test machine. So here we are, I've got my test machine, and what I have done is I have completed the ZIF sockets. So we'll just take the keyboard out so we don't stretch it. There we go. So here we are. If you remember, so the SID chip was socketed, and I've put a SID chip now. I've managed to desolder it out of that old machine that I was going to take it from. Got the SID chip. The PLA was socketed. The VIC chip, the kernel were all socketed. Now, as you can see, I've put in some more sockets. So I've put a socket in for the CIAs. I've got a socket in for the character ROM. I've put a socket in for the 6502. I've put a socket in so we can test the memory, and a socket in on that one. Now, I'm not too sure what that one is. I've got to read up on it. So now, all the chips are socketed. I know you're going to say, well, that one's not socketed and that one's not socketed. Well, that's the same as that one, but it just feeds the keyboard. And I'm always going to need the keyboard, so I can't keep taking it out and putting it back in, because the keyboard wouldn't work. And I can't get a ZIF socket in there. I have got a ZIF socket to put in there, but when I tried, the gap ain't big enough. So I've got to figure out how to do that. But it allows me to test memory, because I can take this out and test whether if it works or not. That's the PLA. I can test SID chips now, VIC chips, whatever that is. I can test that as well as the 6502, and any kernel ROMs, character ROMs, and any CIA chips. So, shall we see if it works? So we'll get the top again. And connect the keyboard back up. Close the lid. Now I'm not going to screw it down. And as you can see, there's no LED. Well, this is a test machine, so I'll point you back at the screen. So there's the telly. Hello, if you can see me in the reflection. And here we go. There you go. One C64 screen. Now I know this camera's not very good on this telly, but it's just to give you an idea. Now, we're going to test it now. So here we are. This is something I'm going to be talking about soon. Got this last week. It's called an Easy Flash card, and it's an Easy Flash 3. So I'm going to plug this into the computer, and then we're going to test it out. There we go, it's now in, so I'll switch her on. Right, so we'll do a dead test. So as you can see from here, I've programmed this Easy Flash with some cartridges, so I've got quite a lot of diagnostic cartridges at the moment. When I do the other program, I'm going to show you how we can put all these cartridges into one slot, yeah? But for the moment, we'll do A. We'll see if everything works. So this is the dead test cartridge. So I'll be testing the 0 page. And as you can hear, one of my dogs is having a play fit. Pack it in, Nico. So we've tested 0 page and that works. So now it's the stack page and that works. Now it's going round the screen. As you can see, it's looping through. And what that's doing, it's sending multiple characters to the same location and testing to see if it's getting the same thing back. So we'll let that run through. Now it's doing the colour one, and you'll see it just scanning through. And you'll see it when it comes down here, when it hits those characters. There you go, it's just whizzing through it now. Now it's doing the RAM test, so it's filling the RAM up with 0, so it all disappears. So it's filling the 64K RAM up, and it does take a while, but not too long. Now it's doing the SID chip. And it does it again. So it's going round, so that's that one. So we'll get back to the Easy Flash and we'll do the Dr. 64. So B. And we'll see what this comes up with. Here we go. 0 page, colour RAM, 64K RAM. Right, the reason why it's saying the keyboard's faulty is because I ain't got the loop backs in. So it's saying the keyboard's faulty, the cassette's faulty, and the user port's faulty. But I've downloaded the schematics for that, and hopefully I'll be able to make some. So everything's okay on there, so we'll try the next one. So we'll try C. So it's doing the same thing. It's tested 0 page, it's tested the stack, now it's testing the screen. Now the RAM test. There we go. Same thing, cassette, control port, serial port and user port. And the interrupt, well, that's connected to the user port, so it thinks U1 and U2 are bad and U18. But the 6581 is the SID chip, but that's working. Alright, so let me switch her off. And what I'm going to do is we're going to take this RAM chip out. So I'm just going to unplug it, put it there, and then put it back in. So here we go. We'll switch her on, so it should go back into the cartridge. Well, in fact, it doesn't even go into the cartridge. So it must be an important RAM chip, that. That's okay. That's okay, it's a good test. Right, we'll put it back in. Switch her on. There we go. That's a good test. I like that test. If the chip works, it comes on. If it doesn't, don't have to run the diagnostics. So, if I do this is a cartridge that I've managed to make, so it's got some of my favourite games on. I've got to put the other ones on. Whoops, I've told that to start. Do it again. Right. Press the wrong button. Here we go. So we'll go into it again. E. Oops. Silly me. Right, F. So I put a machine code monitor on here. So if I click on that, that should go straight into the machine code monitor. There we go. So we can do the memory. Oh, 100. Whoops. 100. So that's the memory for that memory space. And I've put a load of other stuff on. And I've also put some games on. Games 01, look. So if I do that, how many games I've got? Galaxians. Oh, and I've pressed enter again. So what have I started? Well, this will be fun. Crack out. Anyway, enough of that. Oh, that's loading now, isn't it? There we go. Well, the SID chip works. Anyway, we'll switch her off. Point you back down there. So, as you can see, you can take a motherboard and make it into a true test machine to test all the chips, except for that. Yeah. So, this is a 250425 motherboard, and I've put zips in all of the major chips and one of the RAM chips. And this will allow us, or me, to check any machines that I get that don't work. I can check to see if the chips are working. So I can replace these chips with the ones in the machine, switch it on. If it works, then it's something to do with the motherboard. If it doesn't, then I work out which chip it is. And so this test machine is now finished. Everything's in, and it's just waiting to be used. And I've got 6 64s that don't seem to be working. I'm not too sure why. So the first thing I'll do is check all the major chips, and we'll take it from there. Well, I thought you would like to have seen the finished test machine. And Retro Marquee, thanks for the machine, and I finished it. And the Easy Flash 3 card here, I'll be doing a video about that in a later date to show you all what it can do and all about it. While because I'm still learning it. It's quite powerful, that. All right, so I'll see you until the next video. Ta-ra for now. Bye.